All right, hello, good evening, and welcome to Iron Port here on Metropolitan Television. Iron Port is proudly brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, GOIL PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Linked Network Services, Meridian Port Services, MPS, and indeed Phoenix Insurance. The show is proudly powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority-GPHA, and our media partner is the Business and Financial Times, the BNFT. If you want to have a grasp of all that transpired on the show tonight, make a date and grab the Thursday edition of the BNFT, and you'll be able to see all that happened here tonight. Indeed, we are streaming live on our social media pages. On Facebook, we are live at Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Still on Facebook, we are live at Port of Tema. And on YouTube, we are live at Iron Port. Iron Port. We shall be getting interactive with you as usual, and so all you have to do is sit back, relax, and grab your phones and send us your messages and comments via our dedicated WhatsApp line, which is 0559 177 0559 177. When the time is ripe and I pick signal from the production team, we shall activate the phone lines for you to call in and contribute to the discussion. My name is Kennedy Mona. We are going for a quick break. When we return, we'll continue with the show. Please stay with us.
Guys, now I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really? Okay, I come.
Shut up!
Boss, fill my tank with Super XP Raw 95.
Fill up with Super XP Raw 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from GOIL.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him. Hey, go for mommy.
Choose Super XP Raw 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for GOIL Super XP Raw 95. GOIL, good energy.
GOIL is good energy. Electricity. Then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water, or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse, and my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the high seas covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance. Oh, Ajima, tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects, and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes.
Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302-246-319 or 0243-690-492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
You're welcome back. We are now going to take a look at happenings in the port and shipping industry in the course of the week. And indeed, the Minister for Finance, the Honorable Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, in the course of the week had cause to pay a working visit to the port of Tema. He called on the Customs Division of the Tema Collection. That's the Tema Collection of the Customs Division. And he also paid a courtesy call on the Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority and Management. Some discussions ensued. We have details of those for you and more. Please enjoy.
The Minister of Finance, Mohammed Amin Adam, has lauded a collaboration between the Ghana Party and the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, urging them to even tighten this relationship for the purposes of maximizing revenue generation and improving trade facilitation. This came to light when the minister led a delegation to the port of Tema, where he called on the Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority.
Revenue is number one priority for me, because whatever we want to do as a country, whether we want to build infrastructure, we want to pay salaries, pensions, everything depends on how much revenue you are able to generate. And given that Tema Harbour is the gateway to our country, we must make sure that we maximize the potential of the harbour for increasing the revenue of the state, so that we can be able to address our development challenges.
Mohammed Amin Adam also called for joint inspection procedures to be properly followed.
There is also the issue of multiple agencies that in their own right want to perform their duty, but they do this in silos. That also has to be addressed. And clearing agents in particular have complained about having to go to several agents to get clearance before they eventually clear, goods. What I understand from the customs is that they do joint examination. And so beyond the joint examination, we should not have other stopping, points, which brings delays and then thereby increase the cost of doing business, both on your side, because you have to provide facilities for all these agencies, but also on the side of the business people.
The new government appointee, who touched on growing public concern for the high cost of doing business at the ports, said it is about time for all stakeholders to take a second look at local administrative charges of shipping lines at the ports.
We must move towards a system that reflects standards elsewhere in other ports, even ports that are very closer to us, where such local administrative charges are not allowed. Why do we allow them in Ghana? So is it that the shipping lines, are taking us for granted? Is it that the shipping lines are not regulated?
He supported a cause for the creation of more inland ports when touching on the ongoing project in Boankra.
I believe that there is value in establishing these inland ports in these areas. Apart from them being holding centers, they also enable us to trace every penny that we need to collect for the benefit of the state. And so, just as you've done with Bonkra, you may want to start looking at Hamile and a community along the Eastern Corridor area.
The Director General of GPHA, Michael Luguje, said the Port Authority continues to provide expanded facilities at both Tema and Takoradi ports to improve maritime trade in the country. He said, contrary to claims that port handling charges are high, the Port Authority's charges constitute less than 10% of the total charges importers pay to clear their goods.
We have done quite a number of studies, and the most recent one was just about, I think, early part of this year, when we were at EMT, led by the Shippers Authority, to present port charges or cargo clearance charges through our ports. And it was obvious that out of the total charges, the Port Authority's contribution is less than 10%. We are in a very, very, very independent environment, different actors. The Port Authority's regulations have a limit to which they can affect private entities' operations, and their tariff regime, their charges, and the rest.
The DG also called for government's intervention in strengthening security across the country's land borders to prevent smuggling.
Where is the motivation? Our suspicion is that the motivation is smuggling. Those who do that, it means they look for all the loose routes and then try to come into the country with it. And that cannot be, that alone is a very difficult task. It cannot be significant enough for us to create the impression that it's because Ghana is not attractive, a lot of cargo is going there. We don't have any data to support that. But we want to use this opportunity to just plead that government, of course, the border authorities, do everything possible to provide extra policing to the borders so that we can prevent the few who are succeeding in doing this smuggling and creating this bad impression.
Earlier, the Finance Minister, Mohammed Amin Adam, called on the Tema collection of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, where he engaged staff and management of the Customs Division in Tema. Applauding the collection's contribution to the kitty of government over the years, the minister encouraged the uniformed men of Tema Customs to double up efforts towards meeting revenue targets given them this year for national development.
If you collected 95% of your target in 2023, that is a decent performance. But you also know that year to date in 2024, you are short by about 11.3%. And so like every institution all over the world, even where your performance is excellent, there is need for improvement, so that you can maintain that excellence.
The Finance Minister assured that his outfit will work hard at ameliorating the challenges that come up during tax administration at their various stations.
Revenue mobilization will be my number one priority. And given that you are the foot soldiers of our country when it comes to revenue mobilization, my role as Minister for Finance will be incomplete if I do not have interface with you, if I do not interact with you, if I do not understand your challenges and seek to address those challenges. And this is why I'm here today.
The Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Reverend Ameshadai Owusu-Amoah, reassured the Tema collection of customs of the authority's maximum support in its revenue mobilization efforts.
And as I mentioned earlier on, this collection contributes about 95%. So it means that if we grow Tema, then we are growing the revenue. However, it will not say that we are leaving the other areas untouched, because for all you know, these are other areas too that if they grow, they'll be able to dilute the concentration on Tema.
For his part, the Commissioner of Customs, Zaidu Idrisu Idisa, re-emphasized the importance of Tema collection to the work of customs in Ghana.
More than 90% of all the goods that are imported or exported do so through the Tema Hub. And for that matter, almost 90% of customs revenue in terms of taxes and duties are generated at the Tema Hub. Additionally, the sector commander and others who have spoken before mentioned that Tema is the customs university. We say this because goods are cleared from the port using what we call customs regimes. And it is only at the Tema Hub that we have all the regimes operating.
The Tema Sector Commander of Customs, Christiano Odieje, revealed that progressive steps are being undertaken to address challenges encountered in their work to optimize revenue collection.
The challenges we have faced in the subsidies regime is seriously being addressed. Our warehouses are audited quarterly by the officer in charge of the housing with assistance of the Customs Regime Office and our headquarters. Transit goods are also being monitored by the e-banking device as well as the e-banking office and our headquarters. And high-risk goods such as alcohol are being given a human escort in addition to the e-banking device. And this has yielded results as we have intercepted several consignments that were supposedly going on transit, which have been directed. These goods are also being closely monitored to curb abuse. Not long ago, we found vehicles in the prison container with the help of our science. So those goods were also intercepted.
Despite these challenges, she said, her outfit will remain committed to excellence.
Right, so those were happenings in the port and shipping industry in the course of the week. We are now going to take some international port and shipping news.
An operation to recover the bodies of 4 more people presumed dead continues after a container ship crashed into a bridge in the U.S. city of Baltimore. 2 victims of the collision involving the Singapore-flagged Delhi, which struck the Francis Court Key Bridge as it left port on Tuesday, have been named. Investigators have boarded the ship and recovered its data recorder, similar to a black box, officials say. The U.S. Coast Guard says more than 1.5 million gallons of fuel, oil, and cargo containing hazardous materials are on the ship, but there is no danger to the public. All 22 crew members, who are all Indian nationals and were not hurt in the crash, are still on board. The bridge snapped and plunged into the Patesco River on Tuesday about 1:30 Eastern Time, also 5:30 Greenwich Meridian Time, after the Delhi container ship crashed into it. The vessel had lost power and issued a distress call moments before, but could not change course in time to avoid crashing into the bridge. Danish shipping giant A.P. Moller-Maersk has revealed that more than 660,000 TEU were transported in 2023, saving over 683,000 tons of greenhouse gases from being emitted into the atmosphere. The ship owner marked a strong growth of Maersk Eco Delivery Ocean products last year. 212 of the company's clients opted for Eco Delivery Ocean for their seaborne cargo in 2023 were shippers from various sectors including retail, lifestyle, and automotive companies. Specifically, Maersk defined green fuels as fuels with low, that is 65 to 80%, to very low, that is 80 to 95% greenhouse gases emission over their life cycle compared to the fossil fuel. The fuels and the supply chain are verified by the International Sustainability and Carbon Certification, ISCC.
Welcome back. It's now time for us to take a look at the word or phrase of the day. And remember, the word or phrase of the day has been fashioned to bring you up to speed with the terminologies and jargons we use in the shipping industry. Today's word is restore. Restore.
A restore is a move where a container is offloaded from on board the ship and put back onto the ship, either at the same store position or a different store position. This could be due to incorrect storage of a container or a change of destination was requested at the later stage.
All right, so welcome back. We are now zooming into our discussion proper tonight, and tonight we're taking a look at the E-Levy. Since its implementation, what's been the journey so far, what's been the story so far? We're taking a look at this particular topic tonight. We're taking a look at, some of the issues that have arisen, out of the implementation of the E-Levy and how far the GRA, which is the implementing body, has come with this particular project or implementation of the E-Levy. We are all aware of the kind of fuss it generated when it came on, both politically and, it took the landscape of the country by storm with, a lot of, commentary by various people. I mean, the agitations and all that. But it went through, it passed through, and then the implementation has been on. We just want to find out from those responsible for implementing it, how far they've come with it, what are some of the issues that they've encountered, and how smooth is it going? How much have we realized, if they'll be candid enough and, magnanimous enough to oblige us, how much we've realized from the E-Levy since its implementation and what the future holds for this particular, E-Levy. And so it gives me pleasure this evening to introduce to us Chief Revenue Officer from the Ghana Revenue Authority, Isaac Kwabena Amoako. He's a member of the E-Levy Technical Committee. He's no stranger to Iron Port. He's been here before. Good evening, sir, and welcome.
Good evening. Thank you very much.
Awesome. We are glad to have you. And also, no stranger to the show. He's also been here before. He's in the person of Mr. Opoku Efriyi Asante, who's a senior revenue officer and also a member of the E-Levy Technical Committee. Now, these are the two gentlemen we are having a discussion with tonight. And I would like to begin with you, Mr. Amoako, and find out from you what's been the journey so far. If you can tell us how this implementation has been since you started with the E-Levy.
Thank you very much. We didn't start on a smooth note. It was quite rough.
Right.
But along the line, it got smoothened. And I would say so far, so good. Sometimes we have intermittent issues which we try to resolve.
Right.
Especially on wrongful charges to customers. That has been the major challenge of wrongful charges and how to handle refunds. So far, that's the only...
Take us back to basics. What's the E-Levy? If you can refresh our memories.
So in 2022, May, we first allowed entities that are required by law to charge. And these entities are banks, telcos, or what we call EMIs,
right.
Payment service providers, and specialized deposit-taking institutions. We gave them authority to charge the levy. We started at a levy of 1.5 on the amount being transferred on certain type of transactions. Then in July, we implemented a platform we call ELMAS.
ELMAS?
ELMAS, yeah.
Okay.
And this platform automatically, when charging entities are connected, does the computation and gives it to the charging entity to compute the E-Levy applicable. There are some exemptions that are applicable within the E-Levy. So especially if you are sending to yourself,
yes,
you are exempted.
Okay.
There's a daily minimum threshold of 100 Ghana cedis.
So if I have some cash I want to deposit in my account, let's say I'm a Momo user, MTN, I don't attract any charges.
It's not supposed to. So far as the charging entities have configured you correctly, there are chances that your configuration is not right.
Right.
And by configuration, we mean your Ghana card or your TIN, taxpayer identification number.
Okay.
It should have been set up properly at both the destination account and the source account. Then this exemption of same person will apply.
Right.
Else it will not.
Okay.
And then we also have 100 Ghana cedis minimum for Momo transfer that involves Momo. And then 20,000 for transfers that are bank to bank transfers.
Right.
So in a nutshell, that's some basic I can add for the journey. Maybe Nana can.
Nana, you want to come in
with
with some additions?
Yes, I can. So in terms of collections, at first, as Ike rightly said, the charging was being done by these entities.
Yes.
So basically what they do is that once they collect the money, they will have to generate a bill and then make payment to the GRA. We've transitioned from this arrangement where they have to generate a bill from what they have collected and then make payment. What we have, when we put in place the ELMAS, the platform that Isaac talked about, what we've done is that as soon as they collect, within a period of 24 hours over the next day, GRA will automatically sweep that amount that they have collected from the account. So they do not have to now make payments to the government. GRA automatically collects that money from a designated bank account. Yeah.
Tell us what, I want us to learn more about this ELMAS platform that you talked about. What is it?
So ELMAS basically means...
Is it an enabler that enables you...
You can think of it as an adjudicator.
Effectively operationalize the E-Levy.
Exactly. You can think of it as an adjudicator. So just to give you an overview of how it works, if you want to transfer money from, say, your MTN mobile money wallet to your Vodafone, it has to go through what we call the ELMAS, so that we can rightfully administer the exemptions.
Okay.
So we need to know whether the originating account is the same as the receiving account.
Okay.
And for us to be able to do that, it has to go through a centralized platform so that if I'm transferring to myself, whether it's my bank account or to another mobile money wallet that I own, that platform will now tell the originating entity. Say if MTN is making that transfer to my Vodafone, the platform will return and tell MTN that, okay, so this transfer, he's actually transferring to himself.
Right.
So for which reason MTN shouldn't apply the E-Levy on it. So for administering these exemptions, number one is the same person transfer, the threshold. Now the threshold works across all the platform.
Right.
If you, for example, in a day you have 100 cedis exemption, it doesn't matter whether you transfer from, say, Vodafone or MTN or Airtel, it's 100 cedis across board. Yeah, so we need an adjudicator so that if you transfer from MTN, if I transferred 50 from MTN today, same day I transferred 50 from Vodafone, the platform would have taken record of all these transactions.
Right.
So immediately I exceed the 100 cedis threshold, the platform can now proceed and tell each charging entity, okay, so Opoku has exceeded his daily limit, so for any subsequent transfer he makes, the charges apply. So basically that's the overview of ELMAS, which is the Electronic Transfer Levy Management and Assurance System.
Okay. All right. So I have been a victim of some form of cheating in terms of, sending money. On 2 occasions, I think that the figure was 3,000, and the fellow tells me I have to pay, is it 10 cedis or is it 20 cedis for sending 3,000 cedis? And I also know, but sometimes when you are so desperate and you are in a hurry to send these things, you oblige. But you think about it and you think that, okay, they say, no, this shouldn't happen. When you are sending or when you are depositing, no charges should apply. So how come that some people are still doing that? And when you are using the MTN, the app, MTN app, mobile app, it tells you it's there, crystal clear, explicit, that do not pay any fee to the vendor. So why do we still have these issues?
So those would be compliance issue because the instruction is that it is supposed to be deducted digitally, not off the counter. So once you are being asked to pay, that is a sign that it's not legitimate. Yeah. So you need to know your right and assert your right.
So do I have the right to report such an intransigent vendor to, the powers that be?
Yes. You are supposed to. Yes. Normally, you report them to the entities that they belong to. So if it's an MTN agent, you report to MTN. If it's Vodafone, you report to the Vodafone entity.
Right. Let's come into our sector. We have the clearing agents, the freight forwarders. We have the importers who on a daily basis transact business in our ports, and they also heavily sometimes depend on mobile money to pay their duties and taxes and all that. How are they able to utilize this particular E-Levy platform to do this?
Okay, so maybe I can take this one. Okay, so in order we can isolate the stakeholders within the value chain. So you have the importer who purchases a product and wants to import it to the country. Now, the importer has to deal with freight forwarders, right? Someone who is going to assist them with transportation, moving the item from where it is to where he is. So now this freight forwarder, as part of how the law has been crafted, we have what we call merchants. Now we have what we call in the Act, we have what we call specified merchant payment. Now, if you are making payments to this freight company, so long as the freight company is registered with GRA for income tax or VAT, you will not pay E-Levy as part of the transfer you are making for the services they have rendered you.
Right.
Now, as soon as you import the good and it gets in country, you now have to rely on either a customs broker or what we call an agent to enable you clear your goods. Now, once the declaration is made, you have to make payments for the duties and taxes that apply. But then the law specifically indicates that duties, payments for taxes, fees, and services are exempt. So in that regard, if you are importing and then you are clearing your goods, E-Levy is not applicable to the list of transactions that you may have to pay. E-Levy is not applicable to clearing of goods. Yes.
Which transactions, so to speak, are affected by E-Levy? Okay, so you have... You can walk us through.
You have, we talked about mobile money transfers.
Yes.
So that is one, you transfer from one mobile money operator to another mobile money operator. Yes. Then you have transfers within the same mobile money operator. So for example, if you have Airtel Tigo and you have another wallet that belongs to Airtel Tigo, so transferring money between the same mobile money operator. So you have what we call on-net and then off-net. Then we come to transfers from a mobile money wallet account to a bank account. So if you cross from the EMI space, that is what Isaac talked about, the electronic money issuers, the telcos for that matter, and you now transfer to a bank account, it is also in scope of the levy. And then when you do the reverse, when you move funds from a bank account to a mobile money wallet, it is also in scope of the levy. Isaac, would you want to add to it?
Yes, and also if an individual is making a bank transfer using any of the digital apps, that's also in scope. Right. So what is out of scope will be corporate accounts making bank-to-bank transfers. Right. That means if a corporate entity wants to send transfer to another bank account from a bank account, it's also out of scope.
Right.
Yeah. So basically, these are the ones.
From your submission, Mr. Poku, are you trying to say that importers, all importers, must acquire the merchant SIM?
So the importer
is it mandatory? Yes.
Usually, what the importer needs is their taxpayer identification number. Okay. Because that's what will be used in your declaration. Yes. So once you have that, it is the company providing you the services to transport your goods, whether it's an airline or a shipping company. It is that company that needs to be registered with GRA for income tax or VAT. Yes. So that if the importer is now making payment for his goods being shipped from one country to the other, that importer wouldn't be charged the levy. Yeah.
Okay, so let me come to you and Mr. Amako.
Let me add a little to Nane's point.
Right.
Because for importers, most of the time, so far as import is concerned, they will be paying the duties and taxes.
Taxes, yeah.
So they would use the Ghana.gov platform where they would have generated the bill of lading and those declarations. Yes. Those are all exempt from the E-Levy.
Okay. All right, so that's going to be my next question. Whether there are categories of people or entities that are exempt from the E-Levy?
So the way the E-Levy law was crafted, it didn't exempt entities. It rather exempted the type of transfer. Right. And the type of transfer, Nana has enumerated all. So if the type of transfer is a mobile money transfer within the same network, it is taxable. If it is from one network to another network, it is also taxable. Right. Then between a bank and a mobile money network, and then within a bank. So that is how the law was crafted. Entities were not exempt. So when we are implementing, sometimes we try to go by what the law says without necessarily exempting an entity. Right. So in recent times, ECG, Ghana Water, these entities have come into the fray. What we do within the system is what Nana explained, specified merchant exemption. Yeah. So insofar as these entities are in good standing within the tax system, when you make transfer to them, it is exempt. Or they would also come under the categories of charges, fees, government charges and fees, which are exempt. Right. So it is the type of transfers that are exempt and not necessarily the entity itself.
Are there any special dispensations that are applicable, that have been applied to some perhaps categories of entities and people with the implementation of the E-Levy?
Okay, so as Isaac did mention, there is no single entity that is exempt. However, it's the type of transaction that an entity decides to embark on. So, for example, if a company that owns a corporate bank account decides to disburse funds, whether it's salaries or loans, to its employees, and the employees have bank accounts, that entire process or that entire transfer is exempt of the levy. if that same company decides to transfer funds to a number of employees who have mobile money wallets, it is taxable. So you realize that it's the nature of the transfer that will determine whether or not E-Levy is applied to it, but not specifically for, the exemption is not specifically for an entity. It's the type of transfer or the type of transaction that an entity decides to embark on. So in this case, the company that owns a corporate bank account, making a transfer to its employees or whoever is the recipient who also has a bank account, will not suffer E-Levy.
Can I add a bit
okay,
to
please,
please because
do.
you asked for special dispensation. Probably we will not call it special dispensation. We will call it exemptions that are granted within the scope of the implementation. We've listed some already, the 100 Ghana and the 20,000, the taxes, fees and charges, check transfers, specified merchant payment, then principal, master agent, and agent transfer. So we may call them special dispensation, but in our terminologies, we call these are exempted transactions.
Right. Okay, so if, let's say, a company, an entity employs some people, and it's going to pay them using, electronic means, does the E-Levy apply?
It depends on the means the entity would use to pay them. So if the entity decides to use, or it involves mobile money, then there is some charges. But if it is purely bank transfer, since the source is corporate, there is no E-Levy applicable. Yeah, so it is the type of transfer that you choose that determines if the levy applies or not.
You mentioned the taxpayer identification number. That's a TIN number.
Yes.
And I know that the Ghana card number has become the TIN number.
Yes.
As it stands.
Yes.
So it means that if you don't have a Ghana card now, it means you don't have a valid tax identification number.
Perfect.
Is that so?
That's so.
Yes. So for individuals, yes, your Ghana card is now your taxpayer identification number. For corporates, it's still same, nothing has changed. And then per the NIA law, not everyone is required to have the Ghana card. So if you are part of the persons or entities who are not required to have a Ghana card, then it means you fall back to the status quo. GRA will issue you the regular taxpayer identification number. Aside that, any other individual who qualifies to get or who is eligible to receive a Ghana card can use that Ghana card personal identification number as your TIN.
Right. Okay, so tell us, what's been the level of cooperation from the generality of the Ghanaian people since the implementation began?
We'll categorize it into two main groups, the charging entities and
the
normal citizens. Yeah. Sometimes because of misunderstanding and also improper configuration on the charging entity side, you have a number of customers being charged the E-Levy, especially when it relates to their Ghana card.
Right.
What we've realized is that some of these customers have provided their Ghana card to their banks or their telcos, but the telcos haven't updated the LMAS.
Right.
Sometimes they confuse their internal system, which is their banking app, from the LMAS integration. They're two separate entities. So if you do it on your banking app, but you fail to do it on the E-Levy platform, the customers would incur wrongful charges. So that has been the complaint, these wrongful charges. And also, when it happens, how do the customers get their refunds? That also, there is a big challenge.
Yeah.
The entities seem not to have operationalized the process of customers calling, making a complaint, they taking the customer's detail, and then applying for refunds on behalf of the customers.
Yeah.
Most times, they just send these customers away and tell them that the government have taken your tax. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
If you want your money back, go to GRA.
Yeah.
So you see customers coming to our premises wanting their
refunds.
But the procedure is that the entity that charged you the wrongful charge is the one who's supposed to do the refund on your behalf to the GRA, so that it would be automatically credited to the account that was used when the transfer was being made. That's most of the challenge we face, wrongful charges. Yeah.
So it means that there's a lapse, and that lapse is the fact that the consuming public are not aware of the channels to use in order to get redress in terms of refunds. They only rely on the word of the vendor or the service provider to come to GRA. And you said there have been some queues, if I may put it so, if it's permissible, of people seeking their refund from you rather than from those who are providing the services. So in this case, if the transaction has to do with, let's say, MTN or Telecel or, Airtel Tigo, you would go to that particular entity, not GRA. And so once they tell you that this is something that has gone amiss, you have to stand there and then and get them to understand that they are those that are supposed to support you and to give you some redress. How long does it take to get a refund?
So currently, the policy around processing refunds, we have to look at it from the customer's perspective. So the customer has to go through the entity that charged him or her, and then when that entity now puts in an application on behalf of the customer, that is when the refund process or the timeline for the refund now begins. So if an entity puts in a request on behalf of the customer, what we have is an estimated period of 14 days to process the refunds. However, it can extend depending on the volumes of transactions that have been reported for refund. I believe the Revenue Administration Act gives the Commissioner General up to 60 days to process refunds. But then the team is working very hard to make it very minimal so that it doesn't have impact on the customers. But one more thing I wanted to add to as the challenge that we have identified is people using avenues to bypass the levy, which I believe you are very much aware of, where they go to an agent and then they send money through an agent. I think the Bank of Ghana has indicated that this is not permissible.
Right.
What you are supposed to do when you go to an agent is to do a cash-in, and then when that money is loaded to your wallet, you can then send to the person that you want to send to. But then to send directly from an agent to another person, it means that you, the sender, you are cut off from that transfer.
Right.
Okay, so all we'll see is that a transfer from an agent to a recipient.
Yes.
And then the original sender is cut up.
Right.
So that amounts to, it has some laundering implications in there that I think the BOG is also looking at addressing.
Okay,
that's
so
another challenge that we've noticed.
it would have to be mandatory that if I'm going to send money to somebody, I get the vendor to load the money into my wallet so that from my wallet I can send to the party that I want to send to. Is that the case?
Yes, that is indeed a policy. And we've had several engagements with the electronic money issuers, and then they did indicate that, yes, that is how it is supposed to work. But then I think from time to time, you realize that people still use that avenue. So I think a broader conversation is being had to see how we can remedy the situation.
So bypassing this particular step, can that be described as illegal?
We would like to say it's not permissible because I haven't cited which law that it will be violating.
Okay, so if the vendor, if I'm going to send through a vendor, not through I want to send and I have cash, physical cash, I go and I give to the vendor, I'll send this money to so and so number. Does the vendor pay E-Levy on it? Does he pay charges?
Currently, the vendor or the agent does not pay when it comes to... So the E-Levy Act exempts some sort of transactions for which the agent is part of. So cash in, cash out, which are done on behalf of the principal, which is the company, by the agent. We regard those transactions as exempt.
Okay.
So for cash in, cash out transfers or transactions, where you go to an agent and then you want to deposit money or take out money, those category of transactions are exempt per the Act.
All right, so recently the Ghana Revenue Authority issued a press release on some challenges you were encountering with respect to the E-Levy. What were these issues and how serious are they that you prompted you to come up with a press release?
So that has to do with the internet outage.
Right.
It was nationwide. to a number of the charging entities.
Right.
They were affected. I even understand it's a number of countries within the sub-regions that were affected.
Senegal and the rest, yeah.
So the E-Levy platform had been designed in such a way that it's not supposed to disrupt normal operation of each of the charging entities.
Right.
So the policy is that if you are unable to reach the E-Levy platform, charge the customer.
Right.
And then later on, do the reconciliation and refund to the customer. So what happened is that once we had the internet outage, exempt normal transactions which are ordinarily exempt were all being charged, including the payment of electricity, payment of taxes, sending to yourself. All manner of transactions were being affected by the charges. So that is how come we send a circular that anybody that had been affected from 14th of March that it started, you are entitled to a refund.
Right.
But you have to pass through your charging entity for them to make the refund to GRA.
Right.
And those refunds will be legally refunded to the entities. Yeah. And I can add.
Yeah, I believe Isaac has said the entire process. So what we are currently doing is that we are working with all charging entities or those who were impacted by the internet outage, so that we sort of do an adjudication to see which transactions require refunds. So once the GRA is able to establish that these set of transactions are to be refunded, then the charging entities will proceed to do the refund, automatic refund to their customers.
Have you monitored to see how far this process has gone in terms of trying to rectify some of these anomalies that took place during the downtimes as far as the internet disruption was concerned?
We've been engaging with the charging entities. We've segregated the challenges into two. So those that affect government institutions like the ECG, Ghana Water, taxes, we've given them permission that they can expedite the refunds by following some simple procedures before getting to the GRA. But the other general population, they have to follow some laid-down guidelines before the refunds are given. So within, at the backstage, we are engaging to make sure that these refunds
can you tell us what the guidelines are?
So we haven't fine-tuned the guidelines. A quick guideline we've shared with the charging entities. What they need to do, if it's ordinary customers, they need to identify all the transactions that the levy had been charged first, and then try to repost those transactions onto the LMAS. And once they are successful, they generate the IDs that are attached to these transactions, and then send it in batches to the GRA for us to determine whether those transactions were actually supposed to be charged the levy or not. If not, we give them a list that these ones are qualified transactions that should not have been charged the E-Levy. Please give the monies back to the customers, whilst they also follow through the refund proceedings. So that is one procedure. But for the ECG and the Ghana Water, what we've done is that first furnish us the list, and then immediately post those transactions, and then refund the monies to the customers immediately before coming to GRA. Those are the two procedures that we've worked.
Okay, I just want to go back to the earlier point where you said most of the time the vendors or the service providers refer these clients to you for refunds. When they come to your office, what do you do?
Right, so we do have a dedicated contact center. Where if customers have doubts or need some sort of clarity as to how they should proceed with a request for refund, the GRA contact center is available, and then we take them through the necessary process. So once they call, someone will be assigned to them. Usually what we do is that we collect some baseline information to establish whether indeed that transaction happened, and then whether or not the refund is required. And then once we establish that, we give them the information that they need to go back to the charging entity and explain to them that, okay, so GRA has given me this information that I need to come back to you for you to put in a request on my behalf for my refund to be processed for me.
Let me add something.
Yes.
Because of the relationship we have with some of the charging entities, sometimes we collate these wrongful charges that come through our platform. Then at the backstage, we get in touch with the charging entity and tell, please, I have this list.
Yes.
These are wrongful charges. Please try and process them. So that if fast.
So how's the refund done? Is it done electronically or they give them fiscal cash?
So we have. You mean fiscal cash?
Yes.
No, there's no fiscal cash. Everything is electronic.
Yes.
Everything is electronic. Yes.
All right. So the fellow, it means that when the fellow lodges the complaint and you begin the process, the fellow is expectant that the refund would come. So once it drops, the fellow knows, okay, this is my refund.
Yes.
Or there's a message accompanying the refund.
Yes. So I think when we went live 1st July with the platform, the E-Levy platform, 1st July 2022, I think we saw some issues there, and then we had to let the charging entities refund some of these monies that were wrongfully deducted back to the customers. So essentially what the customer would realize is that their wallet, or whether it's a bank account that originated that transaction, their wallet will automatically be credited. So you should see a credit information, a credit note, saying that E-Levy refund, and then the amount that was deducted, you should see that as a text message. And when you go to check your account or your balance, it should have increased by the amount that the E-Levy was taken out of.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. This is Iron Port here on Metropolitan Television, and tonight we are taking a look at the implementation of the E-Levy, the journey so far and matters arising. With us in the studios tonight, Mr. Isaac Kwabnamo, who is the Chief Revenue Officer at the Ghana Revenue Authority. Also in the studios, Mr. Opoku Efeyi Asante. He is also a Senior Revenue Officer, also at the Ghana Revenue Authority. They are both members of the E-Levy Technical Committee. We're going for a quick break. When we return, we'll continue the discussion. Please stay with us.
Guys, now I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really?
Okay,
I come. Shut up! Mame, boss, fill my tank with Super XP Ron 95.
Fill up with Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from Goyle.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him. Hey, go for mommy.
Choose Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for Goyle Super XP Ron 95. Goyle, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse, and my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the high seas covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance. Oh, Ajima, tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects, and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302-246-319 or 0243-690-492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
All right, so welcome back. This is Simon Port here on Metro TV, and tonight we are taking a look at the E-Levy implementation and journey so far and matters arising. With us in the studios, Mr. Isaac Kobna Mwaku, Chief Revenue Officer, Ghana Revenue Authority, member E-Levy Technical Committee, and indeed Mr. Opoku Efriye Asante, who is also a Senior Revenue Officer and a member of the E-Levy Technical Committee. They are the two gentlemen we're having a discussion with tonight. We're just going straight into your inbox to let the rest of the world hear the questions that are bothering you. This one says, just to be sure, I want to know if you mean E-Levy shouldn't be charged when I send Momo from my Vodafone to my MTN. How do I enjoy this since I am the owner of both lines? This one is from Alfred in Spintex. I've also been told by the production team that you can call in and contribute to the discussion because the lines have been activated. It's right here on your screen. You can call in and contribute to the discussion. You had a question from Alfred. Yes.
So Alfred has to report to their charging entities, the two charging entities, that's Telecel and MTN,
right,
that they should update his Ghana card on the GRA Elmas platform. Then he can start getting the exemption when he sends. There's a distinction between the platform the charging entity is using and the GRA platform. So they have to be specific that the GRA platform is where the update of the Ghana card should happen.
Right. Okay. I'm surprised to hear that these off-the-counter deductions are illegal. Can we get a lot more education on this GRA, because I can say from experience that this is common practice. Ato in Danzuman sent this one.
Okay. Yes. So what we have engaged the charging entities as well as Bank of Ghana to come up with a directive or a joint press release, for that matter, that spells out some of the activities that are not permissible. So I think in due course, when that press release comes, we will have information as to which activities are not permissible.
Right.
Then again, we also noticed that I think someone can go to an agent and then call someone else that they want to receive money to maybe alert them to do, what do they call it? Allow cash.
Yes, cash out.
Yes. So that funds is moved, instead of the person loading money to their account. This is different from the agent himself sending the money. This is another thing that we've picked up, where someone allows cash out and then immediately funds are moved from their account to the person that they want the money to be with. So that is also not permissible. So I think we will come up with a list together with the charging entities and the various stakeholders, and then make them available so that everyone is educated and they know.
All right, I'm told we have Shadrach calling us from Adenta. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. Please shoot.
Yes, so I'm a victim to this E-Levy target, and it started way back from around late October to November. I have called my bank, and then I've been there, and then I'm told they've linked my Ghana card with my bank.
Yes.
I've also been to my service provider, which is MTN, and they say they've done same. But any transaction I do in between either my service provider to my account or from my account to my service provider, I'm charged. Even if I send 1 CD from my Momo to my bank, I am charged extra. If I do any transaction at all, there have been several times where I've called GRA office, their helplines, and the last conversation I had with them, the lady was like, as of now, they do not have any permanent way of solving this problem. So she's even advising that, if possible, I stay out of these online transactions because it appears there's nothing to do.
So you're talking about transferring money from your Momo account to your bank account?
My Momo to my bank account, or my bank to my Momo, or any other online activity I do.
Right.
At these charges.
Okay. All right. So I'm sure the officers here would prefer some, response, and then we move on. Yes.
Since he's already been to GRA and is persistent, I would advise he sends an email to E-Levy support@gra.gov.gh.
Go over it again.
E-Levy, one word, support. So E-Levy support is one word, @gra.gov.gh. And he should provide us all the details of the transactions that he's done that were affected. And once we receive it, we would contact him. He can include his contact number so we can give him a phone call.
Okay, Shadrach, so you heard it. It says you should send a message to E-Levy support@gra.gov.gh, and then add your contact number. They would work on it and then get back to you. Do you have anything to add?
Yes, I think we have received a number of complaints in this regard, where someone moves money between their accounts, whether it's from bank to mobile money wallet or mobile money. And then what we've observed is that sometimes the account number does not have the Ghana card linked to it.
Yeah.
I think this will also be a platform for us to, reach out to all charging entities in that if a customer comes to their office, what they do is that they check the core banking app to see whether the customer's account has a Ghana card appended to it. And it ends there. But that is not the resolution to this problem.
Okay.
What the bank needs to do, or the charging entity in this case needs to do, is to check in with their technical team to verify whether the customer's account is available on the E-Levy platform. So whether that account number that is on the E-Levy platform has a Ghana card. It is not enough to just look at your core banking app to conclude as to whether the person's Ghana card has been linked with it. They need to do the next leg to verify whether their technical team have indeed moved the person's details to the E-Levy platform.
Okay. All right. I understand we have Ferdinand from Sunyani. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Regina, yes. All right. Please shoot, sir.
My question, I have a question to the GRA people. The question is, at what stage do we need to tax someone? On what? I ask this because I know, principle, you cannot tax me on my capital. It is profit. I don't know whether you understand, you get what I'm trying to mean. Because if I have revenue that I want to send it to somebody to take some
project for you, yes,
and you tax me, whilst I have not gained any profit, is it not a form of stealing? Is it not a form that government is using to steal me? Two, supposing you are working with Metro TV now, you get your pay through mobile money. And you want to transfer some of your salary, which you have already paid tax on, and to your brother or your mommy elsewhere. And you are being charged. And that same money, if your mommy is going to withdraw from the network, they are going to charge, the platform will charge, and the government of Ghana will also charge. Is it not multiplication of stealing from the public? And again, the last question is, since day one they started they started with this E-Levy, how much have they gotten from us, and what have they used that money for?
Oh, right.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Majina Kwesi, calling us all the way from Sunyani. We are grateful to you. Yes, gentlemen, it's a pregnant question. 1 in 3.
Let me take it. These are all policy-related questions, which doesn't come to us.
Okay.
We are implementers.
Yeah.
Once there's a law, the law requires that we implement the law. These are not the kind of questions
that should come to you.
Answer that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I think the last bit is where maybe he may have been misconstrued. So when it comes to withdrawals, right? You mentioned that you send money to maybe your grandma or auntie or somewhere, and then when they are going to withdraw, there is a charge there.
Yeah.
But then our understanding so far of the policy is that when you do a withdrawal, there is no charges imposed on withdrawal. Similarly, when you do a cash-in, there is no withdrawal. It's only when you are sending, which exceeds the daily limit, that the charge is applicable. And as Isaac rightfully mentioned, we as tax administrators, we are implementing the law, what has been passed and ratified by Parliament. So that is not something that the GRA usually would speak on.
Right. Not within your purview. All right. So I understand we have Mustafa on the line. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Please, sir, I want to find out. As only I have a bank account with GCB, and I want to transfer that part of my own money to my mobile money. They still make some deduction, and it is the same account, my own account, from my own account to my any account wallet.
Okay, right.
So I don't know where that is. Because I pay tax on my salary, and I want to take part of the salary to my MTN or my Vodafone. I still pay charges.
Right. Thank you very much. I think it happens to me too most of the time, from my bank account to my MTN wallet, and I'm charged all the time.
Okay, so
you can also send your details to us so that we check for you.
And then it was because
there's this thing that happened December 4th. I think we issued a press release on it, and I believe that's what you referred to earlier. So in that press release, we indicated that specifically Mobile Money Limited added a channel as part of the transactions that are being sent to GRA for adjudication. And this channel we call the push and pull. Now, push and pull simply means that you either move funds from your bank account to your mobile money wallet, or vice versa, depending on where your point of view, depending on where you are. Because this channel hitherto hadn't been added by Mobile Money Limited since the inception of E-Levy, and then they did same from the 4th of December, you realize that a significant number of people were impacted trying to move money from their bank accounts to their mobile money wallet and then vice versa. So we have been able to engage Mobile Money Limited to actually rectify this particular issue where they make sure that all customers' information in respect of the E-Levy platform are updated accordingly with the Ghana card PIN. And same with the bank as well. So even though mobile money may do the right thing by updating their customers with the Ghana card details, if the receiving institution, that is the bank in this case, does not do same, there will be a charge. And then the blame might be on the mobile network operator, but then it came as a result of not updating the Ghana card information at the bank side. So the two has to be uniform before the exemption is granted.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I understand we have Simon who is calling us from Hachu. Good evening, sir. Good evening, Simon.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
I am calling from Hachu.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. I'm listening to the TV and I'm listening to you as well. Yes, can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Yes. the E-Levy, I've never experienced any tax from bank account to my Momo wallet. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you lower the volume on your radio or your TV set, please?
Okay, I've muted. I have transferred even several money today into my Momo wallet account from my bank account. Ever since the Momo came, nobody had deducted any tax from my bank account to my Momo wallet.
Okay.
And transferring money from my Momo wallet to the my account to my ABSA bank account, nobody had deducted anything.
Right.
My only worry is that when you are withdrawing money from Momo merchant,
yeah,
the withdrawing does not entitle to take any money from my account, because when you are depositing to the same thing. Meanwhile, this time when you are withdrawing from Momo merchant, which is supposed to be free, they still deduct money. That money, I'm surprised. I don't know who is taking that money, whether it is MTN who is taking that money or it's E-Levy who is taking that money. That is my worry.
Right.
If you take 2,000 or 3,000 or even 500, even 100 that you are withdrawing from the Momo merchant, they deduct that money from your your money. I don't know where they take that money. If it is MTN who is taking that money, I don't know. Whether it's going to government, I don't know.
Right.
So we need clarification over that one.
Need clarity on that. Okay. Thank you very much. So he's benefiting. I think his Ghana card has been linked with his, so he's cool.
That's correct.
From his bank account to his Momo wallet, and from his Momo wallet to his bank account, no charges. I think I need to follow up and also get that done, because I do those transactions a lot, and each time I'm deducted.
Yeah. So you just send your details to us. We'll check it for you.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah. Okay. So let's move. This one is from Ohima in Tema. She says, "Good evening. I am Port. E-Levy. 2 quick questions. How does the E-Levy system tell whether a transferee is a staff of the corporate entity or not?" And she asks again, "I have a personal experience where payment on Ghana.gov, on the Ghana.gov platform, rounded up the amount due at the point of payment. E.g., instead of, say, 123 cedis, 50.56, it made it 124. It was quite frequent in the early days of the E-Levy. What's the status now?"
I don't think I'm familiar with this type of challenge.
I think this is something we may have to pick up on. I don't know whether it's related to E-Levy, because he mentioned Ghana.gov. So it's something that we may need to isolate and then look at specifically. Now, the first part had to do with the identifying how the platform identifies a corporate entity.
Yes, so you hold your fire there. Let's pick David from Mama Sama. When come, you would give us that response. Good evening, sir. David.
Yes, hello. Good evening.
Awesome. Please shoot.
Yeah, so please, I need to find out, is there supposed to be a deduction on withdrawals if you are buying credits from, let's say I'm on MTN platform and I want to buy credit from maybe another network. Is there supposed to be a deduction?
Okay. Maybe credit or data, so to speak. Does that attract charges, E-Levy?
No, it doesn't. But if it did, then it will be part of the internet outage.
Okay.
Because there's been reports where buying of credit, those are exempt, but the charge applied.
Right.
It will be part of those internet disruptions.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So he should make a complaint, and then the refund will be done.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. All right. So you were on Ohima's question.
Yes, for the corporate entities. So as we mentioned, there are some individuals who are eligible to obtain a Ghana card. So for such individuals, their TIN will be the Ghana card.
Right.
However, for the corporates or for companies, their TIN remains same, which is the C, the TIN that has a prefix of C. So for any company that you see a C beginning the TIN, that is a corporate corporate entity. So if such a corporate entity makes a transfer and then it gets to ELMAS, and the adjudication is done, we'll check and see if the receiving institution is either a bank or a mobile money wallet. If it's a bank, then that whole transaction is exempt.
Right.
If it's a mobile money, then E-Levy is applicable.
Right.
So that's how we identify corporate entities.
Okay. All right. So I understand we have Adam from Lakeside on the line. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm terrific, by His grace. I hope you are good too.
My regards to your panelists as well.
Awesome. They've heard you. Please shoot.
Mine regards the deductions when you transact between your Momo and then the bank account. You know, I wasn't even aware until I transferred, I think, 8,000 cedis from my Momo to bank account, and then they took 80 cedis.
They took how much? 80 cedis?
They took 80 cedis.
Okay.
Later when I found out, they said I hadn't linked my Momo number to my Ghana card or something like that.
Yeah.
And my question was, I think this country sometimes they take us as fools. I don't really understand, because to register your number, what do you present? Ghana card. Is that not so?
Yes.
So if my number is registered and it's my Ghana card details they captured to register my number, how then do you turn around and tell me I have not linked my number to my Ghana card? It makes absolutely no sense, right? You have my Ghana card details, so do it, for crying out loud. And then you sit there and be taking money from people anyhow, because sometimes we are very docile in this country. They take advantage of us like this. It's not very pretty, right? We are in very dire straits, and then you be taking our money just anyhow like this.
Right.
It's not nice.
Point well made, Adam. Point well made. Thank you very much indeed. He called us all the way from Lakeside, East Legon, Ashali Butchie. That's right, yes. Yes.
There is this technical nuance that the public is not aware of. For most of the telcos, the telco GSM company is a different entity from the mobile money company.
Yes.
If we're talking about the Ghana card that the NCA mandated the mobile the telcos to collect, it was collected purposely for the GSM company. So they come under the direction of the NCA.
Right.
But the mobile money side, which comes under the purview of the Bank of Ghana, when these Ghana card information is given to the GSM, it doesn't automatically ends up with the mobile money company of the same, these two entities. So that is where the challenge is.
Right.
We need the telcos to agree among themselves, since the numbers that are being used is the same.
Right.
The same number that the GSM is having is the same number that is being used for the mobile money.
Right.
That small integration hasn't happened.
Okay.
And that's how most of the customers are being affected. It is not a GRE challenge. It is a challenge in the industry.
Okay.
I believe NCA and BOG, probably and GRE, have to come in and tell the telco that once the same number, the details have been given to the GSM, they should make it available to their sister mobile money so that customers are not affected.
Right. So one of the callers, I think that was Majina from Sunyani, sought to find out. I also indicated that in my opening submission, would want to find out how much has accrued, so far since inception, and are there any specific projects that these monies are being spent on?
Okay, so from the GRA's perspective, GRA is unable to sort of tell what exactly, because GRA only facilitates the collection.
We have to go to Ministry of Finance.
Exactly, so we will have to go to the Ministry of Finance to get what. Yes, but in terms of collections, revenue.
You are making it. You are being diplomatic. All right. Yes.
I mean, the E-Levy by design. Even when you look at the budget statement, it was specifically to address road infrastructure, cyber security, youth unemployment. So in that regard, that is where we believe the funds are being dedicated to. As to whether it has already kickstarted, I think that would have to be a separate discussion, not with the GRA. Yeah, but in terms of what we've collected in GRA's annual 2022 annual report, it was indicated that we had collected 643 million cedis.
Is it 2022 or 2023?
2022.
Okay.
643 million cedis in that report. And then the Honorable Minister for Finance also indicated that the 2023 collections for E-Levy was 1.19 billion cedis. So in that regard, we can do the computation, add the 643 to the 1.19 billion to see where we are from where we started. Yes.
Okay, that should be 1.7 thereabouts. Yeah, 1.7
exactly.
thereabouts.
And I would also add that we've been growing significantly. We started in May 2022 at around 57 million per month.
Right.
And as of today, we are doing somewhere in excess of 120 million a month.
Wow.
So that's a bit of a significant increment.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely. Yes. That's good. I see. Okay, so I think you've told us about the push and pull thing, those transactions, and whether there was a directive to apply 1% E-Levy on transactions by Momo agents. Did something like that ever come up?
Yeah, so that is in connection with the 4th December incident for which we issued the press release. Now, because mobile money agents have not been brought in the fray of E-Levy at that time, because that channel was added by Mobile Money Limited, it brought not just subscribers, but agents as well in scope of the levy. So any agent hitherto who did not have a Ghana card PIN updated at both the telco level or the EMI level and the bank level, they were all impacted by the levy. However, as Isaac mentioned earlier on, GRA has put in place refund measures so that if anybody reports that they were wrongfully deducted, and then GRA is able to ascertain, yes, we can use you as a test case.
Absolutely.
So we'll go through that process so that once you receive it, you can also preach the gospel on behalf of GRA.
Absolutely. I'll make a follow-up on Tuesday. But since inception, that's what has been happening. Anytime I transfer from my bank account to my Momo, I'm deducted.
So why haven't you called your friends in GRA to help?
You see, now that you said that there's that avenue, I would explore it.
Yes.
I would explore it definitely. So to our viewers who are watching us, who have not had the opportunity of texting or calling in, but perhaps have some issues, what would you tell them? Where should they channel their energies? We just on 30 seconds and then we'll wrap up. Yeah.
So for those who have been impacted, especially by the wrongful charges, please complain to your bank or your telco first.
Right.
If you're still not getting redress, that is where you can use our email, which is the E-Levy support at gra.gov.gh.
And lay a complaint.
And lay a complaint to the GRA, then we can pick it up. But you have to provide us enough details that we can use it to help you.
So in sending that email, or even when you call the GRA toll-free line, which is 0800 900. Sorry, let me take it again. 0800 900 110. So when you call, you need to give GRA some specific information.
Right.
So I can share that information so that when customers are sending an email or calling, they have that at the back of their mind and the information ready. So that would be your Ghana card information, your Ghana card PIN. That would be number one. The transfer amount, the amount that you transferred, and then the amount that was deducted. That's the E-Levy amount that was deducted. Then the originating account number. So what number did you use to make that transfer, and which platform, whether it's a bank platform, the name of the bank, and then the receiving institution too. We need all those information. And then we will now do the adjudication and then give you feedback within a specified period.
All right, sure. Thank you very much. And that was Opoku Efri Asante, Senior Revenue Officer and member of the E-Levy Technical Committee at the Ghana Revenue Authority. Also in the studios with us, Mr. Isaac Obnama, Chief Revenue Officer, Ghana Revenue Authority, and also a member of the E-Levy Technical Committee. Tonight, we've been discussing the implementation of the E-Levy, the journey so far, matters arising, and you've heard them. If you have any grievances, do not hesitate them. And like the last bit of Mr. Opoku, he says you should furnish them with some details, and then they'll be able to sort you out I'll be going there on Tuesday to see. And when I'm sorted, I can come and preach the gospel here on Iron Port. We thank you so much for being our guest tonight. We thank you for contributing via text, via calls. We thank you for watching. And I want to say a big thanks to our sponsors, Ghana Revenue Authority, GWEL PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, and indeed Phoenix Insurance. Remember, the show is powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. God willing, next week we shall bounce back with another wonderful edition of the show, and we entreat you to watch the abridged version of Iron Port on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. on Ghana Television. My name is Kennedy Mona. We wish you a super week ahead, and we thank you for choosing us. Thanks, and good evening.
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring.